welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. Or is it? Anyway.
I was on edge because I imagined horrible food coming my way.
No.
Okay.
No. D's not here.
All right.
I'm not gonna just make you eat by yourself. That'd be terrible.
And thankfully, I'm here, so I can't eat.
Chris is here
because
Yay!
I'm digital.
Everybody, clap for Chris.
Yeah,
Chris, we love having you, buddy.
We put him in the computer
And
so he can't eat
we
anymore.
will keep producing this podcast until the ransom is paid in full.
Wait, this podcast makes money? This is news to me.
Well, until the ransom is paid in full.
It makes me money.
Anyway, so we saw the new Wes Anderson joint, Asteroid City.
Mm-hmm. About a month after it released.
Well, no, actually. It
No.
came out June 12th. It's
I
not...
thought it was in a little bit longer than that.
It was mid-June release. It was only in theaters for like 3 weeks before it went to streaming. It was a very short theatrical run. And it was so fucking hard getting tickets to see this movie because I've genuinely been trying to get tickets to see this movie. I work a 9-to-5 job. I got to wake up super early. I got to go to bed at a reasonable hour. And I couldn't find a showtime that wasn't like 11 a.m. or 3 p.m. or like 10 o'clock at night. All the primetime slots were, like, not available. They all went to the new fucking Mission Impossible and the new Indiana Jones. Neither of which I gave a shit about seeing. I fucking love Indiana Jones. Don't want to watch the new one. I don't want to ruin my memories of Indiana Jones. But I was like, why are you not putting
So you didn't watch the fourth one
Asteroid
either?
City? No, I didn't. Well, I did watch Crystal Skull.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know, right? But without any further ado, theme song. TB&J! TB&J! Now, thankfully, unlike Asteroid City, this is not a show within a show with a behind-the-scenes show behind it. Asteroid City, for those of you who haven't completely seen it yet, it is a movie about a play, and at the same time, they also show you how the play got made, and then they play the play out as well, and it can be a little confusing at first, and if you're unfamiliar with the way Wes Anderson does things, it's a little jarring at first, I suppose. But once you start getting the groove of things and you start feeling it out like 20, 30 minutes in, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Everything's great now. But without further ado as well, we do things thumbs up, thumbs down here, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. We start off movie reviews, thumbs up, thumbs down. We end it with letter grade. Troy, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm thumbs up.
Chris, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm also thumbs up.
I'm also thumbs up because I fucking love Wes Anderson movies, and I love he's such a weird little guy, and I just love it. He's such a weird little guy, and I just love his movies. Now, obviously, I'm biased as all holy hell going into this right off the bat. Not to mention, you've got a star-studded cast. You've got fucking Bryan Cranston in here as the narrator. You got Tom Hanks, Jason Schwartzman, Margot Robbie shows up at the very end for like 10 seconds in almost a throwaway scene that actually reveals a lot of information about the characters in the play.
A throwaway scene and the biggest scene, and they also call it a throwaway scene, talking about it being cut from the movie.
I know! It's so fucking bizarre. Willem Dafoe is in this movie for a minute. There's a fucking Scarlett Johansson, who may or may not have been fully frontal nude for a second.
Ed Norton is
the playwright. Yep. So the movie begins.
Tom Hanks.
I mentioned Mr. T. Hanks, Mr. Thanks.
Oh,
Jeff wouldn't have missed Tom
Hanksy.
Hanks.
No, yeah. Fucking Tom Hanks is fucking
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
Corralled him in.
Carell.
Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, so this movie begins with Bryan Cranston as a narrator type telling you that Asteroid City is a fictional play written about a small town in the Southwest in the 1950s.
Jeffrey Wright
as well. I forgot. Jesus Christ, everyone in this movie is fucking amazing. And the city in the middle of nowhere, this little tiny town that's got like a little motel, it's got a little diner, It's got a atomic bomb military base, and it's got a little gas station repair shop, and that's pretty much it in this tiny little rinky-dink town in the middle of fucking nowhere. But it's special because there's an asteroid crater, a little tiny asteroid at the bottom, and they're hosting the Stargazers event. So all these kids from all over the country have their little science fair projects, but they're like crazy high-tech science fair projects. Like, these are fucking genius-level kids, clearly.
Yeah, it's very, like, retro-futuristic 50s.
Absolutely. It's very, like, Wolfenstein-esque or, like, Fallout, if you're familiar with those worlds. It's very, like, I don't want to say steampunky, but it's like, what would the future look like from the spectacles of the 50s? Does that make sense?
Kind of. It's sort of pulpy.
Yes, that's what retrofuturism is.
Yeah, I know, but I was defining it because I wasn't wording good. Anyway, so the one kid, the fucking Steenbeck's son, his name is Brainiac. His nickname is Brainiac. He developed this thing.
Woodrow is
his real name. He developed a device that will project an image onto the surface of the moon, and he was like, this would be great for some advertising campaigns or something. And I'm just like, yeah, that's capitalist America talking right there. Yes, sirree. And the one kid invented, like, a straight-up jetpack. Another kid invented a laser ray that was, like, obliterating these little ceramic discs. It was absolutely ridiculous, all these fucking things. And this is just... It is kind of hard explaining this movie in a straight line. You kind of can't. Right?
I think it's fucking genius that at the end Woodrow is the one that wins the grant for his advertising thing, because that's 100% what America would be into.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
You're just going about your day. You see fucking Coca-Cola on the moon.
That's actually the.
And then all of a sudden, the space flavor makes sense.
It would be the worst fucking future with an advertising campaign on the moon. Now I'm thinking about it.
It's fucking insane. But the play itself of Asteroid City and the movie as it's playing, it comes up with, like, title cards, like Act 1, scenes 1 through 5.
I'm a sucker for title cards. I love I loved all the chapter things in Hateful Eight when
yeah.
I was all in on that, and, like, that's not even like Tarantino's, like, best movie or anything, but, like, every single time the title card came up, I was just like, ooh, it's like a book.
It's really nice.
It's absolutely
I love
wonderful.
the style.
And it's a very nice artistic style, and the font and the coloring, everything is really, really top notch. But the Steenbeck family, the patriarch is Augie, played by Jason Schwartzman, and then you have the kid Woodrow, and then you've got his 3 little daughters as well. Who were, like, fucking, I don't know, 6, 5.
I love these kids. I love these
the kids
3
are
girls.
Amazing. They were my wife's favorite part of the whole fucking movie.
They're so fucking funny.
They were so great. And they were like, we're witches. And it's just like, yeah, you are. It's great.
I love the very first. I was in on them immediately when she's like, what do you 3 princesses want? And they're all talking over each other, describing
but how they're not
princesses. All the different things that they are. And she's like, I'm a vampire.
Yep.
I am like immediately, these are my.
And the waitress just stares and she's like, how about some strawberry milk? Fucking brilliant.
I think that's a Wes Anderson a Wes Anderson thing of, like, he's got kind of, like, the artsy, like, what does it mean sort of that's life kind of movies, but at the same time, like, he's not, like, melodramatic about them really. They're all like they're all also, like, if you're an idiot, you could watch it and be like, that was a funny comedy, and it's like and then you peel back and you're like, there's a little bit more to it than that.
No, and that's my thing about Wes Anderson. It's almost like anti-comedy or like black humor maybe, but it's like it's so ridiculously over the top that it's funny because it's kind of out of left field, and it's not like the car breaks down, they're in the diner.
Yeah, every single person is a straight man.
Yeah, and after the car breaks down, the family's, like, in the diner, and Augie goes out to the phone booth to call Tom Hanks, his father-in-law, and he's like, hey, I need you to come pick up the girls. You know, the car broke down. We're in Asteroid City for the thing for Woodrow. And he and the dad are going back and forth. And then he has this line where he was like, "You never really liked me, did you?" And Tom Hanks' character just goes, "I never loved you." And it's just, I busted out. I was like, I guffawed out loud in the movie theater. And I was like, holy shit, what a killer line that you just delivered almost as a second thought. And it was incredible. But it's shit like that that makes you love a Wes Anderson film. Because that kind of style of humor is just littered throughout this entire movie. Yeah, so he calls his his father-in-law, to come down to Asteroid City, pick up the kids, take them on their way, whatever. And then a bus comes in with, like, all the other families that are involved in this stargazing thing. And you've got the one fucking kid who just keeps daring. He's like, "Do you dare me to do this thing?" And everyone's like, "No." And then he does it anyway. Like, "Oh, do you dare me to eat this really hot pepper?" No. He eats it anyway. And then he has...
dare me to jump off this roof?
Yeah, and you dare to jump off the roof, and they say no, and then it cuts, and he just jumps off the fucking roof and lands in a pile of boxes, and he's fine. But, and then after he eats the pepper, it cuts to, like, they're in the motel checking in, and he's just got his head in the water fountain, just, like, pouring it into his mouth. And it's like, "Oh, is the kid okay?" And it's like, "Yeah, he's fine." It's like, okay, that's just
I mean, it's also filmed really, really well because that's all also one sort of tracking shot from left to right of
exactly.
all things. They never
the
really
cuts are very sneaky or non-existent for a lot of these scenes.
Or they just full on put a scene transition cue card on the screen.
Yeah,
it's one or the other.
It's just fucking incredible. But then after Augie hangs up with the stepdad, I keep wanting to say stepdad, his father-in-law.
It's not that kind of family.
He's like, "You haven't told them," and he's like, "Nah, timing's never been right." And the father's like, "Timing will never be right. You gotta tell him." And it's like, "Okay, what's going on?" And then he sits down with his kids and pulls out a Tupperware container, and he's like, "Your mom died 3 weeks ago. These are her ashes in this Tupperware container." And he like opens it and shows them, and then closes it back up. And I'm just like, dude, that would be traumatizing for any other human being in the world. But Woodrow is like, "Yeah, I figured. She'd been sick, and I hadn't seen her a lot in the last couple weeks." And the little girls are, like, trying to bury her next to the motel with, like, some witchy spells about how she's going to come back to life.
The line about where he goes, he's like, "Let's just say she's in heaven," which, of course, doesn't exist for me, but you're all Episcopalian.
But you're all Episcopalian,
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah. Which makes me think, like, then what the fuck is Augie? Is he just, like, telling us he's agnostic or atheistic? Or, like, I don't even fucking know. It's just
Jeff, he's neither of those things. He's a photographer.
Yeah, he's a photographer. He takes pictures. And Jason Schwartzman's delivery as Augie throughout the whole movie is just so deadpan and straight, no matter what's happening. Even when, later on, spoiler, the fucking alien shows up. And everyone's just stunned, and he just pulls up his camera nonchalant, just takes a picture, and the alien, like, poses for it, too. And it's just like, what the actual fuck is going on, man?
Oh, the alien, played by Jeff Goldblum.
Ah, yeah, Jeff Goldblum's in this movie for, like, 10 seconds. And when he's the alien, he doesn't even fucking speak. I was expecting the alien to be a little creepy, but nah, it just doesn't even speak until he's, like, behind the play, like in the backstage of the play.
It definitely has a creepy scene. For sure.
The alien's weird. And I don't know what art style that alien's done in, but it's almost claymation, right?
It's
you know, Wes Anderson also did Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yep.
It might have been stop motion, and then they just had Jeff Goldblum play himself in the backstage.
That's what I was thinking. There's no way there was a man in that. Excuse me. There was no way there was a man in that suit.
Not the first time, at least.
Yeah.
When the first like leg comes out of the spaceship, I immediately was just like, "Oh, this movie's fantastic." I was immediately like all in. I was all in from like the beginning, but when the leg comes out of the spaceship, it was like, "Oh, we're doing a whole different fucking thing here," and I don't even know how to. So okay, so the real thing about this movie is it's sort of three things. It's kind of a meta commentary on almost like Wes Anderson doing Wes Anderson. Like he's kind of like almost doing not a parody of his own movies, but he's almost like amping up his style to like 11 and then putting like a turquoise filter over it.
I could see that.
He's and like the whole movie is just people talking. Like every time they go backstage, they're talking about like, oh yeah, I think that the alien and the asteroid's like a metaphor for something, and they're like, a metaphor for what? And they're like, I don't know, I haven't panned that out yet. And it's sort of like a little bit of like him almost talking on his own stuff.
That's absolutely true, and that's something I wanted to highlight. So whenever they do go into the making of Asteroid City, whenever it's just not Augie, I forget the guy's name. I've got it in front of me. Give me 2 seconds.
1, 2.
Hang on. So Conrad Earp is the guy who wrote Asteroid City,
Sure.
in big quotes, played by Ed Norton. And then you have the director, whose name was Schubert Green. He was playing Adrian Brody, who, by the way, plays an Italian mobster in Peaky Blinders, which is one of my favorite TV shows ever. And seeing him go from this bloodthirsty, just murderous motherfucker to a kooky director of a play, this man's got fucking range, and I love it, and I'm here for it.
I could have the whole movie could have been 2 hours of him just fake hitting the speed bag, and I would have been fine with it.
Dude, that was so good. And then Jones is the character's name. So Jason Schwartzman, the actor, plays Jones, and Jones
Also an
plays
actor.
Augie Steenbeck within Asteroid City. So honestly, Jason Schwartzman is doing a lot of hard work in this entire film, because he's not only playing a character, but he's playing a character who's playing another character. To borrow a line from a very famous movie, he's playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Mm-hmm. The one acceptable use of blackface in all of Hollywood. That's how you know Robert Downey Jr. is good.
Yeah, he's really fucking good.
If that movie bombed, oh my god.
Yeah, but there's
that would have been awful.
His career ends.
I mean, his career was kind of over before that, and then he was trying to bring it back. So if that was it, then he would have just sunk back into the cocaine.
And I don't know exactly where he went after that. He disappeared again.
Disappeared again. But Tony Stark. No, I'm just kidding. But the whole commentary in the making of the play is that they're constantly trying to figure out, what's the play about? Like, I'm playing, like, Jones goes to Conrad a couple times, who, by the way, he was having a love affair with. They kind of briefly touched on that, and then never again, which was completely fine with me. And then he goes and talks to the director, like 3/4 of the way through the film, and he's like, I'm playing this character, I'm putting my heart into it every night, but every night my heart breaks, and I don't know how to do this. I don't know if I'm doing it right. And the director's like, you're doing everything great. You're doing it fine. As a matter of fact, I think Augie is becoming you, and you are becoming Augie, and everything's great. And it's like, but what does it mean? And the director's like, it means whatever you want it to mean. And it's like, that's such a kind of a throwaway line from modern directors in Hollywood, where it's like, it means whatever you want it to mean, just make the fucking movie, shut up, and we all get paid. It's a very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very shitty take. I don't want to, like, there's an actual word for what I'm trying to think of, but it's a very shitty attitude to have of just do the thing, make the money, who cares what it means. And they're constantly asking everybody, like all the actors and actresses that are involved in Asteroid City, have these little discussions like, what does this mean? What am I doing? What is this? Blah, blah, blah. And they've got notes on like how to make things a little bit better. There's a scene in Asteroid City where Augie is talking to the actress Midge, and he puts his hand on a hot plate, and he burns himself on purpose for seemingly no reason. And he says, I don't know. But we know as the audience that Jones was talking to Conrad about that beforehand, about how he thinks he did it so that he would have a reason for why his heart was beating so fast. He was trying to find a reason for why his body was reacting in a certain way. And we got that little insight into that moment, and added a little bit of depth to Augie's character without just openly telling us. It was really, it was a nice breath of fresh air, honestly, from a lot of the movies that have held my hand in the last few years and told me how to feel and how to react to things. I don't like that all the time. It's okay every once in a while, but every so often I'd like to have an original thought of my own.
The last movie I felt sort of this kind of I think I liked this other movie more, but the same sort of like passion, like way I felt about like them, how they delivered it was probably actually, funny enough, Nope, which is also a movie in the desert with aliens that has title cards.
Yeah, yes it does. Yes it does. I love.
And Nope is like my favorite horror movie now.
Yeah,
so.
I just love when a movie comes around that doesn't just follow the same like formula or patterns as a lot of other movies currently in the world.
Well, Wes Anderson was a pretty easy. You could almost. It's almost like cliche for him not to follow the. If he just made a normal studio movie, you'd be like, "Oh, hold on,
Dude,
I have to dissect this whole thing."
Hang on. The new Superman movie directed by Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson is going to team up with James Gunn to reboot the DC expanded universe.
I would love sort of like a deadpan scene with kind of like awkward undertones of comedy, but there's no jokes, and it's just Kal-El talking to Jor-El.
Superman's literally an alien. He wouldn't understand human emotions at first. You have a lot of playroom with that. But no, this movie does a lot of asking itself, what does it mean? And then it never really says what it means.
Well, the thing I was saying earlier was it's about sort of three things, and that's sort of the one thing of like, what does the actual movie mean?
It's about three things, but that's the one thing.
Well, the one thing was them talking about like what the movie means, and the answer's kind of like nothing and whatever you get out of it. And then in Asteroid City, everybody who's seen the alien is sort of like, well, what does this mean about the universe? What does the universe mean? Is there they talk about the meaning of life a few times.
They do,
and
because now there's extraterrestrial life, hard evidence,
and a bunch of the answers to that is just sort of like, there's not really an answer, whatever you want it to mean, sort of thing. And also Augie specifically, and even kind of the actor that plays him in the play version of it, are sort of talking about like, well, like, what is the meaning of like grief, and like where does grief start and where does grief go, and how do you like, when does grief end? And it's just sort of like, there's not really an answer to that, and the movie itself doesn't really have an ending. It just kind of gives you a haunting scene and then kind of just goes, and you can leave the theater now. And it's like, but it's also not like a bittersweet ending. It's just sort of like,
it just sort of ends.
Yeah, it's like, it's not really going anywhere. There's not like a conclusion to all this stuff, which is also the point of the three.
I mean, they did enough like setting up little bits for like the characters to.
Oh, sure.
Go with.
No, everybody has a conclusion, but it's also sort of like, and now we're gonna go off and do something else. Like, now we leave Asteroid City and go somewhere.
Yeah.
The president lifted the quarantine. The quarantine, yeah.
Well, the kids lifted the quarantine, really, because the General Jeffrey Wright was trying to reinstate it when the alien came back to return the asteroid after he had inventoried it, which, what the fuck? Man, that's such a weird-ass fucking thing. You could have done a whole movie based on that. Mm. Oh, man.
They did make a whole movie based on that. It's called Asteroid City.
No, they wrote a play about it.
It's a play. It's a movie about a play. Come on now, get it.
But the movie is. But the movie is the play, and the play is the movie.
And then after the alien comes back the second time and chaos ensues, Jason Schwartzman, Jones as Augie just walks off set, and because he says he doesn't understand the play. And that's when he has that conversation with the director, Green, and he's like, listen, man, I don't know what the fuck this play is about. I don't know what it's supposed to mean. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And the director's like, you're doing everything great. Everything's just going great. You're doing fine. And it's just like, that doesn't answer anything at all. Like, my character has all this grief, and it doesn't get resolved. And the director's like, yeah, it's not supposed to. Like, you're just supposed to live with it. Like, that's the secret. You just live with it. And it's like, but my heart breaks every night. It's like, yep, and it's going to keep breaking every night. And you're going to keep doing it every night that we do this fucking play. And it was just absolutely fucking amazing. I pulled it up here because it was really, really good. But he says, do I just keep doing it? Yes. Without knowing anything? Yes. Like, you just keep doing it without knowing anything, because that's just fucking life. You just keep doing it. Now, I wanted to ask you boys a question.
Yep.
What did you take away from that scene? Chris, we'll start with you. Where everyone just got up and said, you can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. Because I have a thing I walked away with it from, but I want your opinions first. Chris, we'll start with you.
just to provide some context for our listeners, about halfway through the movie, we get a sort of behind the scenes shot of the playwright who created the play talking about, I think it was the second act, about how he wanted to lull the audience into a sort of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I have no fucking clue. So I don't know if it's supposed to be a commentary that, like, everyone's asleep already, and they sleep, like, throughout this play, throughout the aliens coming, and they just never wake up. I've thought about it. I don't know.
Okay.
And so I would like to hear your
Troy?
theories.
Yeah. I'm gonna kick it over to Troy. Do you have a theory? I mean, because it's not a standalone in the movie. It's got to tie in with the rest of the themes of grief and coming to terms with grief.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I came at it from. Troy, where are you coming at it from?
I'm sort of in a similar boat of Chris of I kind of don't know. I love the scene, but I kind of, and it's like the end of the movie, so it has to sort of be like the powerful conclusion to that thing. What's your thing?
So it comes after Jones has that scene with Margot Robbie, who was supposed to be his wife, right? And she talks him through.
Arguably my favorite scene.
It's honestly probably the climax of the movie, where the two of them are talking, because he's overcome with the grief of Augie, and he's just trying to deal with it and understand the play. And then he talks to the wife character, and she walks him through the cut scene that he was supposed to have with her in the beginning, talking about how let me find it, because I really
They talk a little bit about
it.
Woodrow and how he's a late bloomer.
Well, yeah, but also, the actress talks Jones through the cut scene, hearing Augie speak to his dead wife, in which she tells Augie that she's not coming back, and she gives him permission to move on while still keeping a photo of her to preserve her memory. It seems to give him a sense of closure on the heartbreak that Augie was feeling, that allows him to come back together and resume going on to the play. And then there's actually a cut after that, where Bryan Cranston's narrator character reveals that 6 months into the run of Asteroid City, Conrad Earp died terribly in a car accident at 50 years old. And in the beginning of the movie, we saw that he had entered a love affair with Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So Jones is probably dealing with that grief on top of Augie's grief that he's taken on as his own from assimilating himself into the character. And then we kind of get the whole you can't wake up if you don't fall asleep thing. So my interpretation, which they don't tell you what it is that if you have grief, if you're suffering deeply, you are allowed to lose yourself. You are allowed to fall asleep. You are allowed to watch TV shows or read stupid books or just fucking get high and watch Rick and Morty. You can do whatever it is that you need to do in order to move on and start to recover. You are allowed to do the things that you need to do in order to recover. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to have this heartbreak. That's not how you keep their memories alive. That's not how they stay with you. You need to recover. You need to move on. However you do that, you have permission. You just need to do it. You need to be a healthy human being. You don't need to just be a sad sack of shit for the rest of your life. But yeah, that's what I took away from it. But I'm sure if a pretentious friend of mine with a master's degree in English were here, he might have some other things to say. I really, really wanted his opinion on that.
Until we get a text message talking to us how bullshit our episode was without him, I think that's pretty close. I feel like I did just say that I'm not trying to piggyback and retcon my answer now. That's how I felt about the entire movie. And I think I ascribed it to that, but you put words to it, if that makes sense.
No, sure.
Yeah.
And you know, I had the benefit of talking it over with my wife in the car on the way home, and she is way smarter than me, always will be. She definitely helped me get to this conclusion. It wasn't a complete, Red Getchin production. It was also me. But yeah, like,
That makes a lot of sense because I'm dumb and alone. So,
but like art, TV, movies, books, they are a way to help you process, learn, and grow. And like sleeping and dreaming, you sometimes learn things about yourself, and then you wake up feeling refreshed with a new outlook on life. So you can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. You can't wake up refreshed with new outlooks and new perspectives if you don't fall asleep, if you don't let yourself distract yourself from your grief or something. You can't just sit there in the grief constantly. Nothing's going to change. You need to do something. You need to distract yourself. You need to give yourself permission
you need to listen
get better.
to the TB&J podcast.
I really thought you were going to say Andrew Tate, and
No.
I don't know why.
Yeah, you need to listen to Andrew Tate. That's sort of what I took away from this movie, is like how like females are, you know?
But that's like the big takeaway from the movie, I think, is that you are allowed to, immerse yourself and dream in big quotes in order to wake up and feel better. But it's also Wes Anderson. He could come out and say, "Nah, it means nothing. You guys are just stupid." I don't know. I'm still gonna go fucking see his next movie. I don't give a shit. But I fucking. My favorite scene in this whole movie, honest to God, is when Midge is talking to the scout mom at the communal shower, and they both turn, and then the camera pans, and Bryan Cranston's just standing there, and then he's like, "Oh, am I not in this scene? Oh, excuse me," and then just takes a step out of frame, and then everything just goes back to normal. I laughed out loud in the theater, and my wife hit me because I was being loud and obnoxious. But, oh my fucking God, all the humor in this movie is fucking A. Loved every second of it. Yeah. Chris, what was your favorite fucking scene in this whole movie? To get on a lighter subject other than death and grief.
Well, no, I think the movie has an optimistic view on death and grief.
Oh, no, it certainly does.
For sure.
I just brought us down, and I want to bring us back up.
This is a very bright movie. So
Literally.
I think my favorite
Very
scene was the general's sort of meandering soliloquy when he's presenting the awards.
Chapter
where
1,
he just
I'm a
goes
little
into
boy.
his fucking whole life story.
I love that he ends it with, "That's it. That's the speech."
That's it. That's the speech. And he takes a step away from the podium, and a second microphone comes out of nowhere, like 6 feet in front of him.
Oh, I love one of my favorite characters is that guy who just runs over and just pulls the mic out for somebody else.
Yeah!
He does it for Tilda Swinton later too.
It's like it's definitely a planned thing. Like the general does this all the time. He walks around, he starts talking. We have second microphones all over the place. We got to be prepared.
Yeah, the one that pulls out the microphone. Isn't that the person that plays Flash in the Spider-Man movies?
It is. That is Flash Gordon, the bully from Spider-Man
Flash,
No Way Home.
It's not Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon. Not
Flash.
Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson.
Flash Gordon is the savior of the universe, yeah.
Flash
And
Gordon.
quarterback of the New York Jets.
No.
It's in the movie. He's the quarterback of the New York Jets.
Okay, I was gonna say Aaron Rodgers
No.
is the quarterback of the New York Jets.
No. It's my favorite scene in the movie where he walks up and he just goes, "I'm Flash Gordon, quarterback of the New York Jets." And as a kid, I was just like, "What is this movie?"
Can I sidebar us for a second?
Yep.
No one's listening to this podcast anymore. Troy, if you're making a list of the top 5 quarterbacks in the United States of America right now.
I don't know. I don't know if I can name 5
Can we not
quarterbacks.
do this after we have finished?
Yeah. Fine. We'll do it later. I just wanted to shit on Aaron Rodgers. We'll shit on Aaron Rodgers later.
That is sort of a pastime of the podcast at this point.
Fuck Aaron Rodgers forever.
Aaron Rodgers is sort of an enemy of the podcast for real. And
Is Aaron Rodgers the new Jason Momoa?
They look
actually,
similar.
But here's the problem: is that Jason Momoa and like Joel McHale and Ken Jeong.
Those are good people.
We sort of just picked them because it was funny. Aaron Rodgers just kind of sucks.
Aaron Rodgers just super sucks. Do you believe 9/11 happened? You should look into that.
Oh, right. I forgot about
Fucking
that.
Aaron Rodgers.
His personal health consultant during COVID was Joe Rogan.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, Asteroid City, I fucking loved this movie beginning to end, even though I didn't quite understand it at first. I do think it's definitely worth a second watch. I'll
I'd say we still don't understand, Jeff.
I'm not even kidding. I'm probably dead wrong on every prediction I
Maybe
had.
we will never understand it, and then we look off dramatically into the
It's
distance.
just a theory, a game theory.
That's not where I was going. I was trying to do a whole thing, a whole bit. It's
What
fine.
if this entire movie was just an excuse to see Scarlett Johansson stunt doubles naked body?
I was about to bring that up, but I didn't know if I was going to, and I'm glad you did. So Scarlett Johansson insists that's her. Wes Anderson says, no, it's not. That's a stunt double.
That's incredible. I love that, actually.
And if you look in the credits at the end, there is a, quote, stunt double, end quote, in the credits, and it's a female name.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there was no, like, stunt double anywhere.
Their entire discussion up to that nude fucking frame was that
Literally
her
a frame. You
character
blink and
would
it's
be
gone.
would be doing a nude scene, and said that they would be using a stunt double, and it's all very tasteful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like almost putting a little pin in it, like hitting it right on the nose. But ScarJo had an interview, and she was like, "Yeah, that's me." And Wes Anderson was kind of implied, "No, it's not. That's a stunt double." So it's kind of really funny that the two of them don't agree on what it is.
I sort of had I had a feeling watching that scene that something like that was going to happen. I was actually excited for that specific thing to happen.
Yeah, I've never seen you get excited for nudity ever. So this is a great accomplishment.
This is a first.
Mm-hmm.
This is a first. Should we make a note of this? Should this be a holiday?
Yeah, we can make this a holiday. What day is it? The 18th?
Yep.
July 18th.
As of recording? Yeah.
4 days after Bastille Day.
All right. Well, that's how we can mark it, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
So
Bastille Day. Come on.
what do we call
we
it?
had
beginning of the
Bastille
French
Day, and now we
Revolution.
I
have
know. I get it.
Brestille
I know what
Day.
it is. I
Bastille Day. Oh, I love you, Chris.
That's much better. I said breast steel.
Oh, I thought you said bust steel.
breast
That's
steel
let's
sounds
go with
weird.
that. That's a much better.
Yeah,
that's a
but-
much
yeah.
better name.
It's like that bit in Archer where
I'm glad I
fucking
thought of it. Thanks, Jeff.
Cyril's making stuff and he's like, "Hey, we do stir fry on Fridays. Do you know what we call it?" And Archer's like, "Stir Friday." Cyril's like, "Wow, that's way better." Oh God. Anyway, I fucking love this movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on.
So much.
Speaking of that, McDonald's had National Friday. Well, I guess it's just National Friday. It's on a fucking Thursday. Why?
National Friday is on a
I just wanted
Thursday.
to fucking rant about that. real
Holy
quick.
shit! Oh my God, that's such a terrible fucking plan.
Oh my god.
God, you'd think if they were like, I don't know, one of the biggest companies in the world, they could just put Friday on a Friday and just get the
I
slam
don't know
dunk.
if it's McDonald's that controls when that day is.
I bet you $1
might
million
be a
bucks
US
that is.
thing.
No, I bet you $1 million bucks McDonald's can just say, "Nah, this day is Friday because we said so," and the fucking world will just be like, "All right, it's French Friday." Like that you can't argue. Like, if there's one thing I've learned growing up in America, it's that money talks. All right, and McDonald's is a multi-trillion-dollar
And
company.
that grimace will kill you.
Grimace will
McDonald's.
kill you.
What a bunch of fucking clowns. Am I right, guys?
Oh man.
That was the sound of me slapping my knee. If you could hear
I'm
it.
giving Asteroid City an A. Just an A.
In AA,
No plus, just an A.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
An A for Alien.
It's an
A for Alien.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about how his dead wife is an alien. He has a whole fucking bit where he's rehearsing his lines. I think it's on the train, or it's not on the train. It's with Conrad or something, and he says he's talking about how he thinks his wife is an alien, or she told him she's an alien, and he's convinced like their kids are aliens.
But the question is, does that even make it into the play?
It doesn't, but the fact that the character was written that way. There's so much about Augie and Woodrow's relationship that we don't exactly see. Part of that is just 1950s father-son shit. Part of that is just Augie is a very, very like stoic man. He tries his very best to just keep a level head and a straight face the whole time.
Dude, the very first bit of this movie is so funny, where he pulls out the lighter and he just kind of puts it back, and just a gas nozzle from off screen shows up.
Puts a couple drops of gas on the lighter.
And it goes all over his hand, and he just kind of takes it back and just kind of lights his thing. And immediately I'm just like, oh, it's that movie. I get the movie now.
Yeah, or when
Jeff.
the mechanic's trying to fix the car and a part falls out of it and starts dancing around on the floor. That's not how cars work. Come on.
No, it is.
No, I know.
Jeff, hold on. I think you might have just busted something open here. For each of the junior stargazers, do any of them have both of their parents there, or is it just one parent for each child?
What a wonderful observation. I believe they're all there with a single parent.
I think so too.
So these 5 individuals are incredibly intelligent, and they only have one of their parents there, presumably their human parent. Are they all fucking aliens?
Oh my god, Chris! Oh my god, I was trying to derail us to talk about fucking Aaron Rodgers, and here you come with the fucking...
Aaron Rodgers could be an alien, though.
Here you come with the TDT off the top rope, and you're fucking... I definitely said that wrong, and D would harass me for saying it wrong. DDT, not TDT. DDT off the top rope. Doesn't matter! Chris, you're fucking genius, man! That's such a great observation!
That is
they're all creating just wild fucking inventions that are beyond what the 1950s had.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they're all aliens. And that's why they're all, like, super fucking smart. Oh, man, it's a shame your alien representative is Jeff Goldblum. But, you know.
It's worse.
I mean, hey, Jeff Goldblum, handsome as fuck.
He fucks. That alien fucks. He fucks. Faux shizzle.
I mean, he could be pretty hot on his planet. You don't know what the beauty standards are there.
Actually, he might just be butt fuck ugly.
He might be butt fuck ugly. Who knows, man? Thanks, Chris. Thank you for that. I love how you went from maybe the kids are aliens and you're blowing the lid off that, and then you're like, maybe the alien's like butt fuck ugly. The needle swings in both directions wildly.
Listen, I have a good thought like every fortnight.
No, but
this was the day.
Honestly,
every fortnight.
And the rest. Troy, you were saying something?
I was gonna say, honestly, no. That is a good call on the alien thing. I feel like there's probably other scenes in there. They do talk about like acceptance and not really fitting in with the other kids, and
well, yeah, because they all are miscreants and shit. Oh my god, there's the scene where the fucking kid that dares everybody to do things, his dad stops him and he's like, why do you keep doing that? And he was like, maybe it's because I'm afraid that no one will remember me and I won't leave a mark on this world. And they have a genuine heart-to-heart as father and son, and the dad's like, what were you going to do? And he was like, I was going to go touch the cactus. No, don't do that!
He's gonna climb the cactus. No.
Just this genuine heart-to-heart is just highlighted with just, no, don't fucking do that.
We didn't talk about the vending machine that pumps out realty plots.
The real estate vending machine!
It's so fucking funny.
You get a plot of land, and it's just like, that's bullshit. It's like, not for real.
What?
Deeds are in there.
Well, you don't even really get the plot of land. It was like a really weird investment. You don't get to do anything with land. You could just say that you own it.
Yeah, it's also like the middle of a desert. There's no water. There's no grocery stores. I don't know where the food's coming from in that diner. But Jesus Christ, man. And they're sitting down eating their flapjacks and the whole fucking restaurant shakes and the waitress like, oh, another atomic bomb test. It's like, oh, right, the 50s.
Okay, I'm going to throw in a negative. The most minor negative I could think of, but it's one that I'm going to come out with. I think that they should have done something with that permanently unconstructed bridge. There should have been another scene. They just dropped that joke at the very, very beginning. They talk about how there's like a bridge that goes to nowhere and it's permanently under construction. Because it was supposed to
be an on-ramp to the interstate that just never finished.
And they show it, and it's hilarious. It's like not even really connected to the road.
It's also hilariously small.
It's like, super small. Like they
cars
did
not
nothing.
Fit on that.
It's just the on-ramp.
Yeah, they did nothing to it, and it's not even like close to being made yet. But they don't really have like a scene on it later. Like they don't do anything with it.
You don't need to.
Yeah, I get it, but that's my only.
There's so many small, like, little gags in there. Like, they have the fucking robbers and police going back every now and again across the road.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, that doesn't really go anywhere either, does it?
No,
I
It's
just
just
remembered
sort
that.
of there.
I think so. I have an observation on this. So they when they were talking about how the alien showing up changes everything and the world will never be the same. I forget which character it is. I want to say it's Augie, who's like, nah, everything's gonna be fine in a week. Nobody's gonna care anymore. And after a week, when the quarantine is up and everything goes back to normal, the cops and robbers are back going through the town like nothing changed. And I think it's just a sign of everything's back to normal. Nobody cares. Even though it was national news, everyone was outside the fucking city for like a day. And then it's like, nah, nobody cares anymore. It's old news. No one cares. And it was just, it's kind of accurate to today, where it's like something giant will happen, and then after a while it just gets stale and people stop caring.
I mean, literally, on a very, very super on the nose literal note, everybody keeps talking about different like alien declassification things every other week now, and then it just kind of just like nobody cares about it. But I mean, I'm not
maybe because they don't really amount.
Well,
to anything.
I was saying I'm not a who's the guy? You know, he's like I'm talking about the singer.
Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, I'm not a Tom DeLongist, but
The longest.
Yeah, I'm not the longest.
You're not the longest Tom. The longest Tom.
I am not the longest Tom, but
Also, fuck you. He's back in Blink 182, so I will stand by him and defend him till the end of time because I am a.
So you
Blink
do believe
stan.
in the aliens then?
For a single tour?
Well, no, they did an album. The album comes out this year. Yeah, I have the vinyl pre-ordered, bro. Come on.
Are you the longest Tom?
Neato.
I wish. No, they released a single back in I think March called Edging, which is going to be on the album, and it was like a teaser because they released Edging and then they announced the new tour. And they were like, "Yeah, Tom's back. We're doing a whole thing." And the album should be out later this year. It came out in 3 vinyl colored variants. There was a concrete gray for Tom, there was hot pink for Mark, and then there was a gray and black splatter for Travis.
So you gave your letter grade. Should we also do ours? Or something?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't bring up Blink. I will get on the biggest fucking tangent and I won't stop. So I gave it an A. This movie's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Steelbook Blu-ray pre-ordered already on Amazon because I'm going to add this to the shelf because I own very few movies. I'm going to own Asteroid City. This movie was fucking incredible.
Do you? First off, how many other Wes Anderson movies do you know if you watched off the top of your head?
Honestly, 2 or 3. It's actually not a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, he hasn't made like a billion.
I've read a lot about his movies
Sure.
and like I've read the plots. I haven't like seen them.
Do you know if this is your favorite one so far out of them?
Fantastic Mr. Fox was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And Isle of Dogs was really good. But Asteroid City, it might be a recency bias, but I would say
Fantastic
probably.
Mr. Fox, he just directed. He didn't like create the.
Oh, he
source
didn't.
material
Okay,
for that.
thank you for correcting me on that. But Isle of Dogs was Wes Anderson, correct?
Give me 1 sec. Let me pull up his.
I believe he
filmography.
wrote that one as well. And I really enjoyed Isle of Dogs.
Yes, Isle of Dogs. Directed by, story by Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Yep. So Wes Anderson created that one.
Awesome. Troy, letter grade.
I'm also gonna go A. It's
For Asteroid.
For Asteroid, yeah. Jeff gave it A for Alien. I gave it A for Asteroid. Chris.
I'll give it an A for Anderson.
Oh.
Mm.
Do we think Wes Anderson's an alien?
Probably.
Do we
Yes.
think Wes Anderson's an asteroid?
Are you asking me, or are you asking the guy who defends Tom DeLonge?
I'm asking Wes Anderson. Actually, I am asking the Jeff that defends Tom DeLonge. Yes.
Yes, 100%. He's a gray. Specifically, he's a gray.
Is Aaron Rodgers an alien?
God, I hope so. I hope I don't share DNA with that motherfucker. I hope he's an alien.
That's awesome. That's so funny.
All right, so that concludes Asteroid City. Troy, there are 2 quarterbacks that play in the Super Bowl every year.
Okay, we're
Oh
doing
my
a
God.
TB&J after dark.
No. Quarterback A, quarterback B. Super Bowl, right? You don't even need to know
All
their
right, I
names.
got a pizza that I'm gonna eat right here.
Bye,
right
Chris.
now. You guys keep talking.
Quarterback A and quarterback B play in the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
All right? You're going to make a top 5 list of quarterbacks in the United States right now.
Jesus Christ.
Are A and B on your list? Probably, right?
They'd be up. They'd be considerations for sure.
Would number 4 be Aaron Rodgers and number 6 be quarterback B? No. What the fuck? Who the fuck thinks Aaron Rodgers is worth a damn? Fucking idiots.
What is
That's
this?
who.
What is this?
Somebody put like the fucking top 10 quarterbacks currently in the NFL.
Oh, so this is just you have a gripe with a random list.
Yeah.
I thought this was
They put Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, which is wrong. He's not number 2.
I was hoping
Josh
hoping
Allen.
This he did something
They put
wacky and zany.
Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and then fucking Patrick Mahomes. And then fucking number 8 was Dak Prescott. And I'm like, you're just wrong. He's a shit quarterback.
Is this even like an ESPN
Yeah.
style? Okay. That's a little bit different.
This is an actual ESPN guy who did this.
Gotcha.
And he put fucking
Aren't
Aaron
a bunch
Rodgers.
of ESPN guys just getting fired and leaving and stuff?
A bunch of color commentators got released.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think there were like a lot of former players and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they did just downsize their talent booth a little bit. I will say the
And they
Braves.
still got Skip Bayless, huh?
They do, unfortunately. They do, unfortunately. But the Braves in this last offseason, they hired Brandon Gaudin as their new play-by-play guy for Bally's South. So he does all the Braves games like from the Braves Stadium. He's also the announcer for the Madden games. So his voice will be very familiar to you. He's fucking hilarious in the booth. It's the best hire the Braves have had since they signed Ronald Acuna Jr. It's so fucking good. It's so refreshing. And the other guy in the booth with him, his name is Jeff. He just fucking plays with Jeff all day long and just batting back and forth. It's so great. It's so great. I love listening to Braves games now. Anyway, that was it for Asteroid City.
What do you
I know
think-
you're listening. Tell me how much you don't give a shit about sports.
What do you
Tell me how
think
much we're wrong about the Asteroid City meanings and blah blah blah.
What do you think the crossover between Wes Anderson film snobs and like football Aaron Rodgers fans are?
It's not 0. Hi, I'm here.
Yeah, okay, so it's 1 so far.
Well, I'm just glad I managed to delay it until the end of the podcast.
If you also enjoy Wes Anderson films and and you also
and love Aaron Rodgers.
and love oh,
and
God.
believe everything Tom Long says is real.
No, I don't believe it. Shut the
You
fuck
believe everything he says is real.
That was it for this episode of the TB&J podcast. Please like, subscribe, comment, all the fun things, and we will catch you next time on TB&J. We got to wrap up Secret Invasion. We got to do Barbenheimer.
Yep.
Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer, yeah. I've been saying Boppenheimer. Boppenheimer's more fun.
I saw a T-shirt online that says Barbenheimer, and it's Barbie in a lab coat with a bomb going off in the background.
I saw it was the pink
Oh, wait,
the Pink
is the Mushroom
Floyd.
Cloud Ken?
But I saw one that was the Pink Floyd cover where it was Barbie shaking the hands of Oppenheimer, and Oppenheimer is the one on fire on the
Oh my God.
on the movie set.
It's fucking hilarious. All right, bye!